Ironwood Games. This is Andrew. Thanks for joining me on this premiere draft for Kaldheim on MTG Arena. Obviously, we're going to I did a sealed previously. We're going to jump in and try a draft. I've got a entry token, it looks like, so might as well use that. So I've done one sealed event that you guys saw. We previously did a video series on. I've done one draft, kind of off-screen, casual draft, if you will, with some friends, socially distanced, digitally, if you will. And I'm going to do this draft for a couple of reasons. But one, I just want to do a draft for you guys and see what we get. So I still don't know all the cards. I don't know all the themes. All of that is kind of the disclaimer. So let's jump in here. And I know Arena put on the people drafts, the live drafts, maybe over a year ago now. It's been a while. I've only done a couple of them. They came on, everything kind of closed down, and I've been off of Arena a little bit just with the store being closed and not being up to speed. And the timer always stresses me out, so I prefer, or I kind of tend to avoid them. But let's see, Elvish Warmaster. Whenever one or more other elves create a 1/1, so we could try and go like green elves. I don't necessarily like that as a first pick. We could do a changeling and kind of stay open. That's not bad. Invoke the Divine, Bergstrider. Squash is interesting. So I do think this rare looks really good. I really like green, and I'm not against it. So we'll hold that in case we run out of time. I'm still thinking about this Bloodline Pretender. Whenever another creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on Bloodline. I'm going to take the War Master as a 2-mana 2/2. I do like that Pretender. And I think these are the interesting discussions here. All right, Mystic Reflection. Choose target non-legendary the next time one or more creatures this turn that they enter as copies of the chosen creature. That's interesting. Rootless You dies. Search your library for a creature card with power or toughness 6 or greater. Put it in your hand. That's interesting. Rune of Might has trample, so we could pick this elf. We could pick, I think the Rune is a better green card, or we could get into another color here. The Icehide Troll is not bad. I like this in like big green, but I'd like to have a little bit more ramp for that. Mystic Reflection is interesting. Of course, we ran out of time, and this is where I say the timer, especially being fairly new to this set, kind of always stresses me out. So let's see. Target creature you control fights up a one target creature you don't control. That's always good. You can life equal to greatest power. Okay, I like that. We'll hold on to that. Path to the World Tree. Select card, reveal it, put it in your hand. You gain 2 life, draw 2 cards. Target opponent loses 2 life. So this is very similar to the one we had previously that we never got to play, and it's kind of interesting. I don't... For 2 mana to search for a basic is interesting, but I'd rather just go into a second color and focus on that right now. Sculptor of Winter is definitely interesting, would require us or motivate us to prioritize Snowlands. For 2 mana, I like the repeated effect. I don't know. Giant Ox is interesting. That one's always interesting. This is just a good card, I think, to foretell it, and then on a later turn be able to scry 2, draw 2. Wither Crown is interesting. Other elves. I don't think that's bad. I do like this Guardian Gladewalker if we want to stay in green. I also like this Packmate. Or we've got Snow-Covered Forest here. I'm going to take Snow-Covered Forest because I'm not sure. Green definitely has some snow effects. I'm not sure how quickly the snow-covered lands go. And I don't want to be forced to pick them in early picks in later packs over other stuff we might want once we have a better idea. 3 seasons. Blue-green is definitely a snow. We've seen some decent blue cards, or yeah, a couple of decent blue cards. Some good green still. This is where it's interesting in pick 5 of what's kind of still open. I do like Goldmaw Champion. Bound in Gold is also really good. And I think the white stuff is good. I'm going to take this again and kind of be open and willing to be in some colors. Again, I really don't know what these high priorities and what's not in these in this set so far as getting, or what might be a good signal that something's open. I'm gonna pick the Snow-Covered Forest, or kind of put a hold on it in case we run out of time. The Grizzled Outrider is interesting. We've seen one before as a common, you know, a 5/5 for 5. I think we can pick one up. This is an interesting snow ability. Again, it needs snowlands, so I think I'd rather pick up the snowland here and then be able to move into a secondary color, or another color with snow effects. For the same reason, even though this might be a third color, I mean, we might even not even be in green. But the snowlands don't hurt. Glittering Frost. If this had draw a card on it, it would be amazing. Turning a land into a snowland, I'd rather just take a snowland. Personally, I think. The only other one, Bloodline Pretender, looks good. And Glimpse the Cosmos, it had a lot of text. I didn't get to read it all. It might be good as well. Okay, I do like the Pilfering Hawk. If we go blue-green, that's a good card. Skull Raid is interesting. Fearless Pup looks good. Roots of Wisdom. Return a land card or elf card from your graveyard to your hand if you can't draw a card. So that's also an interesting card. I think I'm going to take the Hawk. If we see more of those, I'll take those. I want to get some creatures and some other things. Now we've kind of got a direction, especially seeing that there's some red. Shackles is not bad if we wanted to do some of both. Frostpeak Yeti is decent, or the Recluse is good. Let's take the Recluse. Kind of go a little bit more snow here. And then for that reason, I think Icehide Troll is really good. I like the Gold Maw Champion. This one was interesting. You see, one of my kind of weaknesses is I like to try and stick with my early picks and not deviate. Yeah, we're definitely going to pick up Sculptor of Winter now that we have those snowlands. But I don't know that that's been wrong. We've been seeing these decent green cards we were considering coming back. Maybe I'm overvaluing them. Here, I like drawing the card. I think I'd rather just play this as a 2/2. Come in, it's a shapeshifter. It works with some of our other stuff. Same reason. We'll stick to some colors here. And then changelings are interesting. Now, Arachnoform. Hopefully with blue we can get some flyers. Oh, it auto-picked. I guess if we run out of time, it auto-picks. We were going to take the Grizzled Outrider anyways. Oh, Herald unites the elves. Mill 3 cards, you may put an elf or Tyvar card from your graveyard onto the battlefield. Whenever an elf you control attacks target opponent, can reach -1/-1. That looks really good. But it would put us into yet another potential color. Not that we can't be there. I'm going to put a hold on the snow-covered island, just because I know that could be a really coveted card. Giant's Amulet. In if you may pay 3 if you do create a... That's not a bad card. I think we're going to pass on some of these and see what wheels again as well. Take these snow-covered lands with our Sculptor of Winter, some of our other snow creatures. Try and kind of prioritize those right now and then see what we can pick up in the scraps later on. Bergstrider is good. Again, Rhinewood Falls, I think, gets into what we want and kind of meets all those criterias for us. So here's Herald, King of Skimfar. So that's interesting that we passed the black-green saga, and then we have him. So whoever could get those Elf Warrior Tyvar. Bergstrider's interesting. Don't like Run Ashore. Jarl's interesting. Struggle for Skimfar is interesting, but not great. Take Herald. Yeah, we're kind of all over the place here, and that's fine. Depart the Realm, I think is really good in this. I don't mind Axgard Braggart. I've definitely stayed away from white. Arachnoform is interesting, but I'd rather just have a creature or affect the board. This is still interesting in that black, we could go like Sultai, Snow, and that's definitely an interesting one. But I think Depart the Realm is just the best card here for us. I could be wrong, as always. Probably more wrong, and you gain 1 life. Dogged Pursuit is interesting. Like I was saying, I'm probably more wrong, or wrong more often than right. Definitely doesn't look like we're doing red or black very heavily. I don't know that I like Carfel. If it made like blue snow, maybe. I think I'm going to take this Hailstorm Valkyrie and kind of consider that Sultai Snow build. Maybe it works out. Maybe we just... I like Raven Form a lot. Behold, the multiverse is good. Let's see Elven Bow. When Elven Bow in our bells, if you do uncreate it, then Crypt creature gets +1/+2 and has reach. So reach is interesting. Raven Form is just a removal is better. We already got Behold. No, we didn't get a Behold before. I think I'm going to take Behold. Just as some card draw. Some things to do here. Great Hall of Starnheim. Shepherd of the Cosmos I think is good. What we're so far away from... white. I like Raider's Carve. We've got some decent things that can crew it. A couple. So 3 powers are going to be good for us. Let's get rid of some of these things that we know we're not, or we don't think we're playing at least. So this one's duplicates. I'm not sure how good that is. As a 2/5, that's interesting. I like this Kinseekers with shapeshifter effects that we already have. I don't know that I want another Masked Vandal. We already have one of those. I might just see if maybe we just splash some red for like a Shackles. I don't mind this guy here, but I don't think he's great. Alright, trying to put some things in the sideboard. Do we want that? Do I want Infernal Pet? Sure, we'll grab an Infernal Pet. Here we'll take the Recluse. I think that's... yeah. I think we're going to try and move the red to the side. The Recluse is definitely better than the Arachnoform, in my opinion. This guy's interesting. We don't have anything for him to search out right now. But 1 or 2 big guys might not be bad. It goes into our hand, so we can't just pick anything here. And I don't... yeah, let's take Dogged Pursuit. It's the auto pick for us. That's interesting. I'm going to take Broken Wings as a... well, I guess we can keep it main for right now. Yeah, and that will go in the side. Okay, Rise of the Dreadmarn, where X is the number of non-token creatures that died this turn. That's interesting. We could get another 3 seasons. Bind the Monster is interesting. I like the Scry 3. It's also a 3 power for our Carve. Snakeskin Veil is interesting. On that, I'm going to take the Rune Eyes. Yeah, I'm not anywhere near that. Avalanche Caller. That could be interesting. Blizzard Brawl. Now that we have snow things, this is definitely a much better card than early on. Undersea Invader is interesting. It's definitely something that we can get with the Rootless U. What are the chances that it wheels? I don't have enough time to count. So I think we got to decide here whether we want the Caller or the Brawl. And I'm taking the Caller because I haven't played with it yet. And we do have like Struggle for Skimfar that's kind of a similar effect to the Brawl. And I don't know if I want that. I got 16 creatures. That's an interesting, again, it's 3 power and helps. Do I just want this Mirror Lake? I don't know on that either. Icehide Troll, I don't think I want. I like Horizon Seeker. I really do. Especially if we might be splashing a little bit of black. I don't know that we are. Or we could pick up Depart the Realm for another bounce effect. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I just think it's a stronger effect. There's also the Snow-Covered Forest, the Ice. There's a lot of things in here. Maybe one of something that's interesting wheels to us. We're getting to the end where there's not going to be a lot of things that wheel. Spirit of the Altar Guard. And search your library for Snowland card. Reveal it. Put it onto your hand. For each other snow permanent you control. Well, that seems good. That just goes right in with what we're doing here. Ice Tunnel, definitely an interesting idea. The Priest here would be interesting. Struggle. Probably not another Roots. So definitely some other options here. Thought Thief is interesting. It's a 3 power, so that works. I don't know about its effect with a kind of a Fate Seal. We're definitely going to make some more cuts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're like at 25. We're about 2 cards over. We might just cut the black. Colossal Plow is interesting. I think I'm going to take this Worm because it's a 6/6 as a curve topper, gains some life, works with the Rootless U. And here, the Horizon Seeker, I think I would like over the Notvold Recluse. Again, diversity. For me, diversity is appealing in the deck. If it's, a really good card, of course, consistency is good. Of course, there's also this Giant's Amulet that gives hexproof as long as it's untapped. I think we're going to pick that up, in fact. That actually seems much better. We cut the red. Although that does look interesting. There's a Bergstrider, there's a Mirror, Runed Crown. Okay, well, we got it because we ran out of time. I'm gonna take the second 3 seasons. So we get a better chance of having one of those, drawing it, seeing what we can get. Here, yeah, I'm gonna take the Undersea Invader again because it's can be grabbed by this Rootless U. Here I'll take the Trick to protect a creature. I could also take the Icehide Troll or the Mirror Lake. Here I'm going to take the Horizon Seeker. So we did get one of those. Here I'll take Struggle. just again to have another option when we build this out. I don't think either of these matter. They're both commons. We'll just take that one, go to the side, and there we got our white one. All right, so I cut all of these. I'm going to cut for now Waking the Trolls and try and stick to at least or at most 3 colors. We're going to make, this is 5, 6, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we need to make 10 cuts, it looks like, on that. So let's go through real quick and just see if there's anything we picked up that doesn't make sense anymore. And it might just be the black. We didn't get the dual black land. This white we might cut depending on how many snow permanents we need and what we have. So we're just running 4 swamps, which what we would lose would be Hailstorm Valkyrie, which is a 2/2 flying trample that can buff. Dogged Pursuit, which doesn't affect the board, but does put a clock out. But there are ways to deal with enchantments. And it's a nice card. We lose Herald. And just look at the top 5 cards of it. Elf Warrior, put them into your hand. So it does give us a little bit of draw. It's a menace as a 3/2, but I don't know that it's critical. And that would give us 4 cuts and make us a lot closer. Let's see, what else are we looking at? Broken Wings might get cut. We might keep it as some removal. I don't know that I like this one, but again, I think that comes down to when we just look out what we have. We might cut the Grizzled Outrider. We might cut one of these 2 tops. Let's see what our... So we have 21 creatures, 12 non-creatures, so probably be a mix of some of both. So I'm going to pause you guys here. We'll come back when I've made some decisions, and we'll talk about them. Okay, so here's what I did. I've moved some things around. I cut the black early and never really looked back. We had to make enough cuts, and I think the black was weak enough. It was not adding, and it's going to take away from the consistency. So we've got, well, let's look at this here. We've got 16 creatures, 7 non-creatures. We really have 18 creatures. We'll look at that. Other things that's important, we have 3 elves and 2 shapeshifters. So our first pick of the War Master, and of course it's one of the elves. There's only really 4 other cards that trigger it. But I think as a 2/2 for 2 with a little bit of late game play, I think he's still a solid card. I don't want to cut him. The Sculptor of Winter really fits into our snow, lets us ramp. Kind of tried to lean into that. So with all these snow things, the Arctic Tree Line is the only one that's I'd just rather it be a forest or an island at this point. Snow covered, of course. But I think it's fine. Either we get it late and it doesn't matter that it comes in tapped, or we can play it turn 1 as just a green source on that. So we definitely had to cut some tricks. I like this carve. Again, kind of helps in trying to ramp into, and so that's why I had cut this Undersea Invader. I brought him back in based off of this idea of ramping. And the Avalanche Caller, again, if we can ramp and have enough snow lands and other lands that I can turn all my snow lands into 4/4s, go in for a big hit and into that there. So rather than kind of what we have left that you can see, and then I've rearranged some things based on costs. So I consider this a 2-drop for its Foretell. right? All of these I would be happy to play on turn 2 or look to play on turn 2. 3 Seasons, I would play it on turn 2, but the fact that it's one of each, I'm just going to consider it a turn 3 play, just because it's less likely to get on turn 2 consistently. And then these would all be solid turn 3 plays as well. Same thing with turn 4s. These are all our 4s. Here's our couple of 5s, and I put the Depart the Realm here in 5, and that's when I expect to play it. You guys know how to lay out the curve, right? And then Giant's Amulet, I put here in, I guess I put it in the 6, and it really should be in the 5 now that I'm looking at it. Because it's 1 blue, but then when you play it, you're going to play 3 in a blue, so 4 more, so 5 total, to create a 4/4 giant wizard creature, and actually a 4/5 because it gets attached to it, and then it gets +0/+1, has hexproof as long as it's untapped. So there's really, I will never play this on turn 1. I might play this on turn 4 if I'm desperate for that boost. Otherwise, it's more likely I'll play it on turn 5 to get the full effect out of it. So we have that, and then Snake Scale and Broken Wings, again, just likely to be late game plays that I'm not going to play early on or do that. And then we've got our 2 big guys that get searched out by the Rootless U, or we can ramp into them and get them out a turn or 2 early between kind of some of our effects and things. And then we've got Spirit of the Elder Guard that really likes snow permanents, and we've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 snow permanents. So it could get, for others, so it could be like a 10-4 on that. So let's look real quick at some of the ones I cut, because that's also, I think, interesting. All right, so we were never playing the white. Oops, we were never really considering the white. Blue, black, red, and green. Tell us. The red, never really considered it. Shackles is interesting. These 2 sagas definitely are interesting, but I think they weaken our consistency. Okay. And then the black again, I like these. We talked about these a little bit before I left, that I don't think any of them are like game breaking enough that are worth weakening the our colors and the consistency of the deck. Again, when you look at how many elves we have, it does Herald does take warriors as well, but even then I don't think we have a lot of targets for it. We have 3 elves. We do have 4 warriors, so we do have a decent amount of targets for it. But it is a lot worse if we miss. It's fine as a 3-mana 3/2 with Menace, but again, I'm just not in that color. So we cut the black on that. I cut one of the 3 Seasons because I want to play with this because I don't know that it's really good, and I want to find out if it is, and I think this deck with the snow permanents to return is the one that it is best. But I am worried if I have 2 of them, of the chance of drawing one earlier, playing it on turn 2 when I don't have any snow permanents to return. If I don't mill any snow permanents, I don't know. I'm just not sure what it does. And then it's 3rd chapter where 3 cards in each graveyard. In standard with escapes and other things, I could see that better. I'm not sure there's enough like cards you want to get out of your opponent's graveyard in limited Kaldheim for that to be good. So again, I don't know. I cut that down just because I had too many cards and had enough creatures. We had the 16, 17 with the carve, and then 18 with the amulet is how I count 18 creatures. And I liked our curve. I didn't want to cut any of our lows, but I didn't want to cut any of our highs. So I cut this spell. I cut Struggle Because, and I cut it because fights are good if you're outpowering your creatures. And one of the issues that I'm concerned about is that I have a bunch of 3/3s, and then 5/5, 5/4s, and 5/6 and 6/6, and then this 4/5. So I don't have a lot of big guys. It's not like I'm going to ramp into something big all the time and be able to just kill something with this. And then the +1/+1 counter to take out a weenie. I don't know if that's worth it. Again, we had to cut something, and so I kept some cards that, like, what did we have? Where did I put them? Snakeskin Veil, a nice trick for us. Broken Wings that can get rid of a lot of things. Depart the Realm that can kind of deal with any pesky things. And here's where I really looked at it, was a Depart the Realm versus Struggle. Is Struggle in certain board states when I don't have a creature, when I don't have anything, it doesn't do anything, right? Or I only have a 1/1 or a 2/2 against a 4/4 or a 5/5, doesn't do anything. Depart can bounce that when I've got a 2/2 against a 4/4 and they're at 2 life, you bounce the 4/4, swing in for the win. So I think Depart just does a little bit better. I cut the other Depart because, again, I had to make cuts, and I went for some diversity in the tricks and the things we have. I think this is a really good card, but again, there's situations where it's not great, and I definitely would rather have 1 Broken Wings, because it does hit artifacts, enchantments, and creatures with flying. There's a good chance that having it, we can deal with artifacts and enchantments that Depart the Realm wouldn't deal with. And then creatures with flying, ground, maybe we can outmuscle and do that. So those were kind of where the cuts came from. I cut this Kin Seekers because it's a changeling that goes in with kind of our elves and that, but just compared to the other 4-drops, it wasn't, I don't think, as comparatively as good. Now that I'm looking at it again, maybe it's better than the Glade Warden. But the Glade Warden does let me grow some creatures late game, which works in with the 3 seasons. So, or the Avalanche Caller, some other things. I'm also seeing now and realizing we don't have any trample. So we're definitely missing some ways to close out this game. We only have 1 flyer. We do have a reach creature. So maybe we need to bring in Rune of Might back. I don't want to second guess myself and make too many changes. I thought about the Behold the Multiverse, cutting that, but I do like draw. It is good, and so I don't know. This is kind of where I settle at on this. So we're gonna bring everything back here. We're gonna take this build out for a spin, and we're gonna try it like this. But definitely, if you have thoughts or a different way of thinking we should build, or what, maybe the Depart the Realm is better. These are the things we're going to keep in mind. Feel free to leave us a comment. Let me know what you think, how I could build this a little bit better with the cards we have, or draft picks that I could have made. Cards maybe I overvalued or undervalued, ways I could have done this a little bit better. Maybe I should have moved into black or white or red, or gone heavier on certain themes on that. So definitely let me know. Leave a comment, and then check out the other videos where we take this one into some games and see what happens. All right, thanks guys.